So, how we doing on this fine first day of spring, Wednesday, March 20th? Evan and Tiki on the Fan. There is a ton to get to today. Saquon Barkley is an absolute troll. We'll get you set for the start of the baseball season. Some of my fellow Jet fans are very, very giddy the way I am. But one thing I am, I guess I'd say confused by, are my friends here in New York City who are New York Yankee fans. Because I say this as an independent baseball observer. I say this as a baseball fan. That despite the news on Garrett Cole and the questions surrounding him, and despite the uncertainty he'll have all the time about Aaron Judge because he is injury-prone, we did get good news today. He's in the lineup tonight when the Yankees take on the Pirates. I look at this Yankee team, in my humble opinion, and I see a Yankee team that has the better chance of winning a World Series more so than any Yankee team I've witnessed in the Aaron Judge era. Which may sound crazy, but when you really think about it, it kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. Since the Aaron Judge era began back in 2017, how many years, Yankee fans, did you go in thinking, hey, we got the team? 2018, the year after when you brought in Giancarlo Stanton, but still had questions in the rotation. Masahiro Tanaka's pitching with a partially torn UCL. Luis Severino's trying to prove he's legit. Plus, you were coming off a season no one saw coming. And sometimes those are the most difficult seasons. Was it 2019? Was it 2020? But then the pandemic got involved. Was it 2021? Or was it last year when we were all disgusted by Brian Cashman and the Yankees not doing enough to improve left field? This season, they added the best bat they have added in a long time in Juan Soto. And so despite the injury questions that are around this team, I, as just a baseball fan, I look at this team and I say, man, I think I feel better about their chances winning it all this year than I have really in the last decade. And I don't know if I get the sense that Yankee fans feel that way. I get a sense, Tiki, maybe I'm nuts, that the Yankee fan is afraid, the Yankee fan is negative. I don't understand why.
Well, you know why? It's because it feels like the success of the Yankees is hinged upon something that is outside of even the players' control and the manager's control and Cashman's control, and that's health. And think about all the teams that we spend a lot of time talking about. The New York Jets. It's all about health. Mm-hmm. Best roster in football right now. They just got to be healthy, including number 8, the guy behind center. As long as he's good, the Jets should be good. The New York Knicks, right? The East feels open or attainable, even though the Celtics are in the way there. But if the Knicks were healthy, they'd have a real shot at making a run. And now you get to the Yankees, and it's the same exact conversation. As long as the Yankees are healthy, in particular, Aaron Judge, who is playing today, which is a good sign. Probably walked twice in his 2 at-bats and not swing the bat at all. So
that's midseason form, baby.
Right? So, but it's all health. Everything is predicated on health. And so your optimism is it's not, you can't control it, right? You want to be optimistic because on paper, it looks amazing.
Yeah, but
it looks like it's going to be fine. It looks like, as you said 2 weeks ago, the Yankees are going to win 103 games, and they're going to be right there in the conversation once the ALCS comes up. That's true, but there's something that's maybe we've been conditioned because of all of our damn sports teams getting hurt. In the back of our mind, we're like, yeah, but Stanton's going to go down, and Judge is probably going to play 125 games, and Cole is out for a month and a half, and who knows what the rest of the rotation is going to do. And now DJ's got the toe, and we got to get these young guys to stay healthy and be lucky like they were a year ago. Like, there's just so many mitigators that pull you negatively, even though when you just want to look at it on paper, you're like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, but here's my argument to that. I think every team in every sport can be derailed by a multitude of injuries. There's no question about
100%.
that. What the Yankees have done, and there's a reason why I have confidence in them. There's a reason why I believe in them. And it's certainly not because I'm a Yankee fan, and it's certainly not because I'm trolling you. I'm being honest. I want to give you the reasons why. Mm-hmm. The New York Yankees this offseason Judge insured themselves because for the last few years, the New York Yankees were as reliant on Aaron Judge as any team in baseball can be reliant on one player. That's not healthy.
Yeah.
In Major League Baseball, you should not be reliant on one player. When the Atlanta Braves lost Ronald Acuna Jr. in 2021, they won a World Series. Now, there were reasons that they were able to overcome that because they were good enough behind him. The New York Yankees, and this is what's different than last year. This is what's different than 2022. What's different than 2021 is that the New York Yankees can lose Aaron Judge for a couple of weeks and not sink. They are better. They have ensured themselves because they went out, and this should not be forgotten, Yankee fans, because I think you're underrating this. You went out and got the best bat humanly possible to get in Juan Soto. You added him. Now, we're not talking about 25 or 26 or 27. I'm talking about right now in this moment. And Yankee fans and Met fans need to just live in the moment. And in the moment.
It's hard to do that, though.
No, you have to, because there's a baseball season starting in a week. In a year, there's another baseball season. That's a year from now.
Right.
We may all be dead in a year. Okay?
Let's hope not.
I'm just being honest. Like, please.
Why so morbid today?
Because I don't want to think about 2 years from now or 3 years from now. We're talking about today. And that wasn't the only move they made. I'm not saying this because they added just Juan Soto. They added Alex Verdugo, who's a good, solid baseball player. You know what he is? He's better than Aaron Hicks. You know what he is? He's better than Joey Gallo. And that's not all. They've got young players who we got a tiny little glimpse of last year. Jason Dominguez, who's coming back in June, July. Austin Wells, who will at least give you an opportunity to maybe be the offensive catcher this team hasn't seen in a very long time. You also have Gleyber Torres in a contract year. You have Anthony Volpe in a year in which you think he's going to get better. I think he's going to get better. You have a Yankee team, and I'm not telling you they don't need Aaron Judge. That'd be stupid. But I'm telling you they can survive without him for weeks at a time.
Of course.
They could not last year.
And he's healthy right now, at least somewhat healthy, because he's playing today. Because if he wasn't, it would be no need for him to play in these last few spring training games. So, but that's not even what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about from a fan perspective, it's like there's this cautious optimism about the Yankee season. Yes, I think most people in the best case scenario see the Yankees as being a team that can win 100 or 100 plus games, win the division, make a run, do all those things. But it's like these little reminders of the fragility of these athletes, these gladiators, these massive human beings who we rely upon to win these games for us as fans, that we could lose them immediately. It happened last year with Judge. Making a great play as he always does.
No. Hold on.
A wall.
Tiki.
The same thing happened this offseason, and it wasn't even. We didn't even see it.
But see, what you just said is the error that I think you and Yankee fans are making. They had their season derailed because of an injury to Aaron Judge. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, but I'm not.
That's not why their season derailed.
Okay,
it's BS. Their season derailed because they weren't equipped without Aaron Judge.
But now they are, is what you're saying.
Yes. So, yes, that was a brutal injury. But do you really think that should be the reason a baseball team crumbles because one guy got hurt?
It shouldn't. That just tells you how a poorly constructed team.
And what about this year's team?
It's certainly better constructed.
That's my point.
But you've also already had an injury to Aaron Judge. You have DJ with a foot. We don't even know what it is, a bone bruise on his foot after having the toe issue all of last year. And your Cole is out for a month and a half. You're just crossing your fingers, cautiously optimistic, because you still are optimistic. The team is good.
I think they're a good team.
What you're saying is 100% right. I'm not even disputing the ability to withstand some injuries to certain guys. But the last thing you want is for your best players to not be available.
Of course.
And so that keeps the expectation a little bit in check. You know what I mean? It just feels like it's a little bit more in check than it probably would be if Aaron Judge was looking strong and ready to hit 64 this year, or Giancarlo Stanton slimmed down, looked like a beast in spring training, or Garrett Cole was, still rearing back and following up on his Cy Young. Like, those things aren't happening yet. And so until we see it, you just have this little bit of doubt. At least that's how I'm registering the Yankee fan in this moment right now.
Well, I look back to 2009. 2009 was the last year the Yankees won a World Series, and 2009 already has some similarities to this season. The New York Yankees were without Alex Rodriguez for a significant period of time.
Yes.
And they were able to overcome it. Now, can the New York Yankees win a World Series without Aaron Judge playing? I'm not suggesting that. But what I'm certainly suggesting is that unlike with the crap we saw last year, and I screamed this on the radio when we talked about it, they did not have their season derail simply because of an injury to Aaron Judge. That is too easy. That's an excuse. Mm-hmm. That's not what should happen in baseball. You should have a good enough roster to overcome it. They did not. They do now. And that's the difference. In 2009, while Alex Rodriguez was out, the Yankees survived it because they had other guys on their roster, whether it was Mark Teixeira or it was Nick Swisher or it was Derek Jeter or it was Johnny Damon, that helped overcome it.
Of course.
This New York Yankee team, in my little humble opinion, has enough talent now where we're not going to sit here on sports talk radio, at least we shouldn't be, and say, gee golly, Aaron Judge is out, nothing we could do. They're better than that. Now, look, it is going to be nerve-wracking all season long around Aaron Judge. Why? Because he's injury-prone. That's the reality of who he is as a baseball player. He is a marvelous player. He is a great player. He's a future Hall of Famer if he stays healthy enough, but he doesn't stay healthy enough. So on this radio station, at the bar, with your friends, you will spend more time talking about Aaron Judge's status, how his knee is doing, how his toe is doing, how his oblique is doing, how his arm is doing. You're going to spend more time talking about that than anything. We have to deal with that. That's who he is. That's who the Yankees are. But unlike last year and unlike the year before, the difference is when he doesn't play, don't tell your friend it's a punt game. You can win without him out there.
No, I agree with that because last year it felt like that. The last couple of years.
And that's ridiculous. This isn't the NBA. This is Major League Baseball. One guy should not derail your season. And to the credit of Brian Cashman, I look at this team now. Now, look, if they lose 8/10 of their starting lineup, 8/10, no, that doesn't make sense. 7/9 of their starting lineup, yeah, of course that'd be difficult. Of course injuries can kill you. But I'm talking about 77% of guys getting hurt.
I didn't even catch it.
If one guy gets hurt, because I thought of the pitcher spot too. I was like, DH, pitcher, whatever.
I know what you mean.
Then yes, injuries can obviously screw you. This is not the NFL, where a quarterback going down should be the end of you. This is not the NBA where your best players should end you. And Yankee fans, you know it deep down, no matter what the general manager says or maybe what you tell yourself. Last year wasn't because Judge got hurt. Last year was because you weren't good enough to overcome it. This year, you are.
Yeah, but I think also the Yankee fan doesn't want to get ahead of himself or herself. They don't want to start putting the expectation out there and then feeling disappointed. It's the difference with the Mets, right? The Mets feel like the expectation is lower because there wasn't a ton that was done this offseason. And you even hear your owner and your general manager talking about, yeah, we're just evaluating a little bit. We know you got some good players on the team, obviously, but the expectation feels lower. So when they do well, it'll feel, we overachieved.
Wait, so you want the Yankees to do that?
No, not at all. I'm just telling you why the Yankee fan is kind of feeling that way, though. Like they're feeling, I don't want to put ourselves on this pedestal and guarantee, or thinking in our minds we're guaranteed to the ALCS, and anything less is a disappointment because it's just so easy to get derailed. Yeah, and it has been for the last couple of years. And maybe that's PTSD from that.
I know,
right?
maybe
it's just being like conditioned to expect the worst. And the Yankee fan isn't usually that way, but the last couple of years have been bad, man. It's like you can't look at it and say, God, this is exactly what we expected from them. No, it's been disappointment.
I get that, but
some of the great successes that we experienced, including Aaron Judge hitting 62 home runs. But ultimately, they got to the postseason and they were dead.
But what you just described as a fan, you just described me. And basically, you're saying Yankee fans are Evan Roberts, and that's not what you want to be.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying,
have low expectations so you're not disappointed.
No, the Evan Roberts is, we're going to stink simply because we are this team.
I'm a loser.
Right. The Yankee fan isn't saying that. The Yankee fan is saying we are so good, but man, just a couple of things go wrong, and I don't know what we're going to be. Right? What if Garrett Cole doesn't pitch all year? What if Nestor isn't what Nestor was 2 seasons ago and he's more like he was a year ago? What if Rodon doesn't evolve? Like, there's just not big question marks, but they're like these little question marks on every
team has that.
I know, but we're talking about our team. I don't care about the Braves or the Montreal Expos or the
what a reference,
right? or the Nationals or the Dodgers or whoever the heck it may be.
This guy wasn't even watching baseball when the Expos existed.
Actually, I was, because what's his name? Carter? What's his name?
Gary Carter?
Not Gary Carter.
Ryan Zimmerman?
No, I'm forgetting.
He's from Virginia.
One of these guys broke their hand.
Oh.
Who was it?
I mean, if you're asking me to remember an Expo that broke his hand, Tiki.
I can't remember, but whatever. We had the preeminent doctor at UVA,
Oh,
and he
I
was
got
there,
you.
and
I
I
got
can't
you.
remember his name.
Don't
now.
bring up UVA on the show today. We're very disgusted with you.
I did nothing to do with it. I didn't even watch the second half.
I just want to know, yes, we are emotional people as sports fans. I get that. I certainly know what it's like to be emotional. But if you're a Yankee fan who's sitting down a week before opening day, when you look at your roster and you know who's on your team, do you believe or are you scared? Are you confident or are you fearing the worst? I look at this roster with an independent eye. I look at what they've done this offseason with an independent eye. And yes, even with the injuries that have now hit this team, the New York Yankees should, in my opinion, make the playoffs without a problem. The New York Yankees, for the first time during the Aaron Judge era, and I'll compare them to 17, I'll compare them to 18, I'll compare them to 19. Pick your year in the Aaron Judge era. Pick it. I feel better about this one going into opening day than any of those teams in the Aaron Judge era.
So effectively, you're saying this is the best chance
Yes.
for the Yankees in the Aaron Judge era. And let's put the Cole and all the other guys here. In this era.
Yes.
To win a championship.
Absolutely.
This season.
Yes, and I'll tell you why. A part of why in 2018 I didn't come in here brimming with confidence despite the Giancarlo trade is something very similar to the Orioles. I believe when a team comes out of nowhere, and let's not forget what those 17 Yankees were. They came out of absolute nowhere. Their over-under was 80.5, the same as this Met team, okay? That's what the expectation was. When you come out of nowhere and you go as far as they did, it is very difficult the following year to prove and do it again. And the Yankees sort of did, right? They won 100 games. They added Stanton, but they got knocked out in the divisional series. I'm skeptical of the Orioles. I am. And I love those guys down there. And yes, Jackson Holliday's on his way. And yes, the Orioles are loaded with young players. But you think it's easy? You think it's easy for a young team that shocked the baseball world, and despite going out and trading for Corbin Burns, you think it's easy that they're going to go do it again? I don't think so. And that's why the only team that I would think of and say, well, how did I feel in 2018 about the Yankees? Not as good as this team. Because here's what I see in this Yankee team. A team that's judge-proof concerning the bats that they added, an offense that has a chance to be dynamic. And yeah, there are questions around Garrett Cole, but the rotation after him is not as bad as everyone wants to make it out to be. Which Carlos Rodon shows up this year? Well, I'll tell you this. If it's the Carlos Rodon from 2 years ago, you have yourself a second ace. If it's the Carlos Rodon from last year, well, that kind of sucks. Marcus Stroman has proven he's solid, even if you Yankee fans look for every reason to hate him. I think this Yankee team has as good of a chance to win it as they have in the Judge era. And that's why when I hear, I don't know, I'm confused by you people. What about you, Tubby?
Hell yes, Evan, I'm with you.
Yeah.
3 words to describe this Yankee team right now. You gotta believe. These are the you gotta believe Yankees.
No. Excuse me.
What?
Think of a new name.
All right. Why are you stealing that one?
Oh, somebody's got to put it to good use. It's been years. You got to believe Yankees. No, it's the truth here. He's hit on all of it. And forget the fact that they're deeper in the lineup. Evan brought up 09, and you know what 09 had with Damon and Switzer outside of depth? Energy, spark plugs. The Yankee team was not only injury prone and waiting for the next injury to happen, they were boring after they got hurt. Verdugo, Soto,
You mean the last
grabbing
couple
his
of
crotch and shuffling. This team is going to be energetic. This team every night is going to give you a little juice. And if somebody else does go down, picking the guys up and making them more energized to recover from injuries isn't just about the talent. It's about the guys in that locker room.
Yeah,
this is a lot of guys out to prove it. I'm psyched for this
It
Yankee
doesn't
team.
feel old like it
No,
was in previous
They're
seasons.
not old, stale, and boring. And by the way, we are conditioned. We did an open on the Knicks yesterday. We talked about the Jets and they're adding everybody injury prone. Don't look now. Aaron Judge in the lineup tonight in spring training. Garrett Cole seeing 50 doctors and finding out there's no tear. While those are injuries and it's bad news, or LeMahieu fouling a ball off, not pulling a muscle, those are actually good injury news. We are not getting the worst news possible with the Yankees.
That's a good
which,
point.
while it's looked at as a negative because these guys are hurt, is actually a positive. There's positive Yankee injury news. We're not getting devastating blows here.
Yeah, I think the Garrett Cole one sucks because we know he's missing a month or two.
Sure.
But in terms of Aaron Judge and DJ LeMahieu, how many games have they missed so far? The answer is 0 because the season hasn't started yet. And there's a chance, based on listening to Aaron Boone the other day, DJ LeMahieu is in the lineup on opening day. Aaron Judge should be in the lineup on opening day. So, yeah, when we're sitting here in March and really the only baseball you concern yourself is guys not getting hurt. That's where we are in spring training. That's where I am in spring training. I love the sport. The Mets were on TV last night. When I put them on because I needed to shy my eyes away from the mess of a basketball game in Brooklyn and then the basketball your team attempted to play in whatever town in Ohio they play that in. Dayton.
Was that basketball?
No, not really.
I thought it was Brickland. I thought they were building a house or something.
I get you. When I put the Met game on, all I cared about was don't get hurt. That's where we are in spring training. But to the Yankee fans out there, I wonder. Today's a temperature check day. How you feeling? Are you confident? Are you cocky? Are you scared? Are you depressed? I say this as somebody that views you as an independent observer. I think you should be giddy because I don't think you realize how good this team can be. We'll get to your calls next, 877-337-6666. Plus, Marcus Stroman was railroaded by some people that don't like Marcus Stroman. The air has been cleared. We'll hear from Aaron Boone.